Hello educators, today's video is going to be on how you can use the Nearpod application during reading instruction to promote 100% engagement among all learners, as well as formatively assess throughout the lesson to promote responsiveness of instruction. I have attached a step-by-step guide that I'm not going to explain in the video, but will be available to access on the Teach Hub lesson. What I will do today is step you through the Nearpod Ready version of the Teach Hub slideshow so you could see how you could use this with your students to promote that engagement. So what I have here is I took the Teach Hub lesson, just made a copy like you would normally do. I took out all of those gray teacher only slides and any ones that I wasn't necessarily going to focus on for the lesson. And I pulled that up. And then after I added the Chrome extension for Nearpod, I just added 3 points in the lesson where I wanted to add engagement. So the area of the lesson that I was focusing on was the modify and clarify techniques or strategies. So if you notice from the lesson, that was on pages 41, 43, and 45 of the book. So our whole lesson goes over into Nearpod, as you can see here. But what I did was at lesson 41, I added an interactive slide. And then on page 43 over here, I added an interactive slide. And on page 45, I also added an interactive slide. So what I'm going to do at this point is show you how you would get that over into Nearpod and make it interactive for the students. So in the add-ons toolkit, I have added on Nearpod. So I go to Nearpod, open. Now, I already have the lesson prepared, so I don't need to do any edits. So I'm going to say go to Nearpod. I have my lesson right here. So you can actually make this a live participation lesson, or it can be self-paced for the students who are not able to attend the live meeting. So I'm going to go to live. Since nobody's actually going in, since it's a video, I'm just going to resume one that I've already practiced yesterday. So this would be the code that you would put in the Google chat. You can put the link here. You can get the copy link, put it in the meeting chat, and then the code, and everybody should be good to go. Now, when you're in the Nearpod, you'll see 2 versions of the lesson. You'll see the teacher view of the lesson and the student view of the lesson. So one thing I want to show you first with the teacher view is as soon as those children are logging in, you'll get to see the list of who's in and who's not in yet. If someone gets delayed because of internet issues, they'll still pop in after you start the lesson. It's not a problem. So if at any point you want to be able to see what the students see instead of what you're seeing, you can click this S and you'll get the student view. So what you'll notice is your whole lesson is right here. You can go through everything as you normally would. You can call on students, but as you're moving, that's what they're seeing. So you're pacing out the slideshow. So this would be the first lesson the first page, that I wanted to add that interactive slide for. As directed in the Teach Hub lesson, this is one of the pages that they wanted the students to apply, monitor, and clarify strategy. So sandy deserts may have tall dunes. Snakes slide over the sand. So we were going to direct them to see what monitoring comprehension strategy would you use to help you understand how snakes slide over sand. So where the interactive slide would come in, this is called the polling option. The student view is much more aesthetically pleasing. This is the view that you're seeing to see every single student and which choices they select. So on this particular slide, I let them choose more than one. And you can use that data to pose, who you want to ask questions to. Maybe you want to have some good conversation on debating which is the better strategy or how you could use multiple strategies. So you may decide to call on students based on what their answers are. And maybe you can consistently see throughout the slideshow, are students choosing the same strategy every time? Are they just picking the first answer? So depending what they choose, you can ask them very targeted questions to push them to the next level. And you have all your data right here. Um, then this would be classroom results for the next slide. Here, this is the next page. We're not going to have an interactive slide for that. Now, this also calls for an interaction. Shrubs and wildflowers have long roots. They can reach water far below. So this is what you would call the collaborative board. So here you're prompting the students to think about what information they already know about plants, roots, water, or deserts that help them understand the posed question of why desert plants have such long, deep roots. So students would write whatever fact they know that helps them understand that here, and it posts like a bunch of post-it notes. You can choose the option if you want to see it first before it just goes up, or if you want to allow them just to come up. Um, this is nice because this allows children to see each other's answers or to promote a conversation. Are there any other postage you see up here that you think would also help us understand this question? This is a great slide to not only see where the kids are coming from, what facts they're using, but to promote building and listening to the ideas of others. And then the final slide that's asking for their use of those strategies during this guided time would be page 45. Sharp spines keep many animals away. So what could you use to help you understand how the spines can keep animals away? So this is another time I'm using polling. This time, however, I'm only allowing them to choose one. And we're talking about why that might be the best strategy for this particular page, this particular content, and this particular question. And again, you can use their results to say, oh, I noticed this time, Maria, that you used a different strategy than last time. Why did you use a different strategy this time? And you can basically think of your questions and based on their answers as you go through the slideshow. So it really is not very difficult to just add in these quick little interactions, but it gives you so much data on where the kids are coming from, what point they're at, how they're utilizing the instruction of the day. And it really promotes every single child to be involved in the lesson.